In today's video, we give our first impressions review of Cascadia by Randy Flynn. Can such a beautiful game have great gameplay as well? We'll let you know here today on Legendary Tactics.
So we just finished our first game of Cascadia, and thought we'd maybe impart some of our first impressions and our thoughts on the game. And
now it's a first impressions for me, but for you, it is like, I don't know how many games you've played of it.
I played 5 or 6 now, so I've had a few goes at it, and I've felt like I'm starting to get a bit of a handle on it.
Yeah. I think I don't think it's a game that is so deep that you can't kind of get a handle on it with that. I feel if I played even a second game, I'd have a pretty good handle on it.
Yeah.
But overall, maybe I'll ask you because I have my thoughts. But what do you like best about Cascadia?
Well, I really like the simple game mechanic in this case.
Yes.
It's not very. It's very easy to play. The rule book's light. You can pick it up. You can pretty much get going on it within 10 minutes, pretty much. And the components of the game are actually the hard copy are beautiful. Like they really put some effort and thought into making quality components, which I always appreciate.
Yeah, well, this game I think has been ranked as one of the prettiest games out there, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember for sure, but I seem to remember someone mentioning that it was an exceptionally nice looking game.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's just really well put together. Yeah. So
I
I kind of enjoy the mechanic of the puzzling aspect of this game, where you're fitting things together. You have like dueling concerns to worry about. You have the habitat continuation. You have of course, all your different animal configurations to worry about. You gotta kind of like juggle these two, and then you also have to kind of worry about what your opponent's doing. So there's a lot of like a lot of sort of layers to what would otherwise be a pretty simple game.
Yes. Well, for me, what really sold me on the game was the animals and how they how they interact with the in terms of how you score each of them and how they're all unique. I thought that was for me, that was the most intriguing thing right off the bat.
Yeah, it is a pretty neat aspect, right? And they all kind of come with their own. And what I really like is that you can see the creators put thought into it, because each of the animals kind of has its unique, its own like animal qualities, kind of like portrayed through its scoring.
Yes, they were reflected in the way that they score.
Yeah, like the hawk that kind of goes solo, right? Or the Chinook run that runs, salmon runs in lines.
Yeah, you need that. Yeah, so, no, that's great.
So I just little details like that they've done to really just sort of the chrome they've added to the game to polish it up.
Yeah. So is there anything that you found that you dislike about the game?
You know what? I not yet. Not yet. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. Do I have? There's not a lot I'm thinking that I can think of that I'm, terribly would want to change or alter. Speaking of which, too, as far as changing and altering, I love that in the rule book, the very last bit of the rule book, you can actually there's variants that they offer.
Yes. Well, that was what I was going to say. I was going to talk about this, but anyway, go ahead. So you got the family variant here and the solo mode.
You've got a family variant, you got a solo mode, and the family variant actually comes with. It's I'm just dropping here in the center of the table if you can see it there.
Okay, sure.
It's very own. It's the only scoring tile you use for all the animals.
Wow.
So it's kind of a unique.
So it's just a simple version.
It's a simple version,
essentially.
Yeah. But quite frankly. To be honest, I played with my 7-year-old today with no problem at all with the regular version like that. So you'd be talking pretty young if you were. But that's fine too.
That's perfect. Yeah, you don't need to have it be any harder. That it still retains the essence of the game.
That's right. That's right.
With this.
Yep.
Right. So that's fine.
And if you turn the page on, actually, there it is. They actually have a Cascadia achievements chart, which I think is so cool. So in the real book, or in the actual rule book, you can actually put people's names along the left-hand column, and you can actually track their progress.
Oh, that's great.
And you can see, so like getting up to a Cascadian biologist is kind of your end goal. And if you turn, we'll flip it one more page here. Here are
Yep.
some of the achievements that you have to earn. So you have to get 80 points with all the level A
Oh.
cards, 80 points with the B's and C's,
Ah,
etc.
okay.
There's even more if you turn the page further. You got to
Yep.
score 80 points
Oh, wow.
and doing these different, all these different achievements in a normal
Have
game.
no bears, have no salmon. That's
And then
interesting.
achievements with rules restrictions, you have to actually, complete different achievements. So I think
Yeah.
they've just added a lot of little details like that that really just kind of make this game pop for me.
And they have different cards as well, like different levels
Yeah, yeah.
of
So every
difficulty
game
with
you
these
can
cards.
actually. That's right. There's actually, I believe there's is there four of each animal. So
Okay.
oh, actually five.
Jeez,
Five
look at
five
this
of each animal.
iconography.
Five of each
Yeah, it
animal.
looks it's look at the iconography. It's
On
like,
some of them, I
whoa.
know. Yeah, and so
Yeah,
the
like
rules.
what's this?
Yeah, how does this work exactly? Yeah, yeah.
So they need to have line of sight between two non-adjacent hawks, and you score through. Wow, that gets really
A little
okay. I see how this game could expand out and give more of a challenge as you go.
complexity. Right.
Yeah,
And so then,
yeah,
and of
'cause-
course, each animal is going to kind of roll with that as well, right? Getting into
wow,
different kind of scenarios.
huh? That's
Um,
interesting.
yeah, and I guess probably my biggest beef with the game is probably the end scoring, which having to sit there with your math calculator for 5 minutes trying to puzzle out
Yeah,
who
yeah,
won.
yeah. Although that said, it is fairly straightforward if you just go through by species and by tiles, right? It wasn't too bad.
Oh, and actually, I should mention too the actual board the board game actually gives you a whole stack of scoring cards. So
Oh yes, you'd
you
need
get
them.
your front and back scoring cards with the game as well, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, how they have all the families of the bears, and yeah,
And
that's
even
neat.
slightly different pictures too, eh? They kind of alter
Yeah,
the images there.
yeah, that's
So
great. Yeah, no, I think that with the I was worried a little bit about replayability, but I certainly could see how you could mix and match and combine and so forth. So there's actually a lot here to work
now I
with.
guess thinking about it a little bit more, I'm wondering maybe if they added a bit more complexity to it. I don't know if that would actually deter from the game though.
I think it would. I think giving more stringent or more complex things that you need to hit. So if you look at this card, for example, D
Yeah.
here, for each fox pair, number of unique adjacent animal pairs. So
Right.
the complexity comes from trying to arrange your tableau in a way that meets that
That is
requirement.
actually pretty hard if you look at it. You have to get pairs of animals all
That's pretty,
surrounding.
and they have to be adjacent. Yeah, so I could see this being ramped up that way, where it's.
So I guess they did
I
actually
think,
incorporate complexity into the game, which
yeah, but not into the mechanics. The mechanics are still the same. It's just it's kind of harder
to
to
score.
get a higher
Yeah.
score. Yeah.
And actually, that's one thing I guess I really do appreciate about this game is the simplicity of the mechanics. That's coming back to that. That's really
Yes, very simple game, and as your daughter said, very relaxing game,
yeah,
very peaceful kind of
there
game.
wasn't a lot of stress in our game.
Yeah, and I think that there's something to that. That sometimes people like games because they are, competitive, and this has an element of competition, but at the same time, you're just kind of taking a tile, taking in an animal, placing them, and it's quick turns, and it's not. You can just relax and play, especially if you play at a lower complexity. You could just have a nice, relaxing game session, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. Now I wanted to ask you what your impressions were of the nature token mechanic. So we had the
Um,
nature tokens in play.
I think you need it. I think as a design, you need something like that.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I think it's otherwise you end up with I think frustrating players.
Right, especially if you get a tableau up that has nothing that you need, or
Yes.
animals or hex counter. So
Yeah, yeah. If you're going for a certain thing, I imagine that they become much more valuable if you play with more complex animal arrangements.
right, where you're actually
Um,
really keying in on a
yeah,
specific.
you need a certain animal to go in a certain spot.
Right.
But yeah, there is a bit of luck to it in terms of the tiles that come out. But I would say that
I think that's mitigated, though.
Nature
I think you
token
that
mitigates
with
that.
your nature tokens, because you can wash away anything you want.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I mean is I think it's a necessary. You need something like that. And without the nature tokens, I think it would be potentially at times a frustrating game, because you wouldn't get, if you didn't have the animals you needed or wanted, you wouldn't have any way of switching those out. It would be frustrating.
Right.
But no, I think it's good. So overall, what would you give Cascadia as a game, both as a hard copy, even the digital version here?
So I really like the digital version. I think they've done a great job of it.
Looks good.
I actually do think I normally I like both, but I think in this case the hard copy version is better.
Yeah,
it's just that look, the feel, playing with your hex tokens. One nice thing about the tabletop version, though, is your hex pieces aren't bouncing all around when you bump it.
Yeah. You mean with the digital version?
Yeah, with the digital, they stay in place. And I'll tell you that's probably my biggest hang up with this game, to be honest, is when you bang your board.
yeah, knock all the pieces over or whatever.
Or you move your hex tiles, you get all these gaps, and for a perfectionist like you, that would drive you bonkers.
Yes, but especially this is a good game for kids, I would think, but really gamers of all ages. I think that there's enough strategy, and you can ramp it up if you've got more sort of hardcore gamers that like complexity. You can add some complexity to it, or at least some solving. There's a sense of solving a puzzle that gets more and more tricky.
This game is actually, for as far as my opinion, is very much rising the ranks on a daily basis as I play more and more.
That's great.
I'm really liking it. Yep. And I can see a lot of replayability.
I would play this again.
You would too, eh?
I would. Yep, I would play this again, absolutely.
Okay, so we're giving it a
maybe
legendary
we'll get,
thumbs up.
Flash. Yeah, maybe we'll get Flash in on the next one.
Oh, we'll do a little. That's right.
Yeah, let's do a little playthrough with him on board, and because now it'll be my second game.
That's
so
perfect.
We'll dominate.
We'll blindside him.
Yeah, you know what? And we should even pick the hardest possible cards and just play.
I love it.
Play as though it's normal. Just pick like D or whatever for all the animals, and then just play as though it's normal.
Oh, jeez. Welcome to Cascadia, Flash.
Yeah, welcome. And he'll be like, "You played this with your 7-year-old?" Oh yeah, he totally.
That's right. They beat me.
He totally got it. Yeah, he beat me actually.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks so much for joining us on this somewhat rambling review, but we hope you got some entertainment value out of it. And if you did, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe down below.
This has been Legendary Tactics.